Hey everybody, welcome back to The Third Degree. I'm your host, Sid Rosenberg, and joining me today, this is an absolute honor and a thrill. Got to know this man pretty well the last couple of months. He's done a terrific job a couple of times on my radio show. But here today, live and in person, the handsome Hall of Famer himself, the great Marcus Allen. Marcus, Happy New Year.
Always a pleasure, Sid. Good to see you.
You too, buddy. Good to see you too. And let's get right to it. You're down here in South Florida at our studios because coming up on Thursday night is the national championship game. The Florida Gators looking for their second win in 3 years, taking on Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma Sooners. I know you're being honored actually as one of the Heisman Trophy Award winners before that game. So pretty exciting night coming up in a couple of nights for you.
Yeah, we're part of the pregame festivities. Just to name a few, I think it's Andre Ware, Flutie, myself are down. They're going to represent. We're representing the Heisman Trophy winners. I'm representing the Pac-10 conference, so I'm excited about that.
That's kind of funny. You mentioned Andre Ware, who had a short stay in the NFL. Doug Flutie, who really had his better days in Canada and even had a couple of decent days after he won the Heisman. He was drafted by the New Jersey Generals. He played with Herschel Walker in the USFL. And then you had this legendary NFL career, so you were able to kind of do both of those things.
Well, you know, Heisman Trophy is a tremendous award, and it's based on a collegiate career, not necessarily a professional career. So those guys played well, and I was lucky to go in and have a fantastic career, so I'm happy about that. Yeah,
sure. Great career with the Raiders and the Chiefs. Okay, talk to me about this game, though, on Thursday night. I like Florida in this game. I'm going to pick the team with the better defense. I think that's the Gators. And even though Sam Bradford won the Heisman this year, and deservedly so, Tim Tebow's the best player on the field come Thursday night. So for me, give me the better defense, give me the better quarterback. I'll take that team 9 out of 10 times. That's the Gators for me.
I would agree with you. I think defense wins championships. It's such a cliche, but it's so true. And when you look at Oklahoma and how great they are offensively, and you look at some of the games, you look against, I think, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, in Texas last night, I don't think those defenses are as good as what we're going to see against Florida. So I expect Florida to do well, to shut them down. And I think Bradford's a great player. I like him a lot. I actually voted for Colt McCoy to win the award because he was #1 in every single category. But Bradford's a great player. But I think Florida just has a little too much defense for him.
I agree. And I think the Gators will win it for the second time in 3 years. Let's talk about the NFL here. A big weekend coming up. Obviously, we're getting close to championship weekend. You, Marcus Allen, you left the Kansas City Chiefs. They've been a disaster. You left the Oakland Raiders. You had a couple of good years under John Gruden. Really, you could be blamed for the collapse of 2 organizations in the NFL.
Well, I guess they underestimated my leadership ability.
I think so.
No, you know what? It's two proud franchises, and to see them struggle the way they have is very difficult because when I look at the National Football League, I look at the Raiders as certainly being a fabric of that league and being an important part of that. And you always want them to play well because it's good for the game and it's good for the league. And when they struggle, you know, you just kind of miss something there.
I agree with you. I think the Raiders are one of those teams that should be good. You used for so many years, you and even the teams before you, John Madden's teams are so great. And it is sad what's happened to Al Davis and that organization. But there are teams that are flourishing. Let's talk about 2 of them that'll go head-to-head on Sunday. That is the San Diego Chargers, who at 4-8 seem like a long shot to do anything this year. Now they become world beaters, taking on a Pittsburgh Steelers team that, talking about good defenses, reminiscent of the Steel Curtain, that good.
They're very good defensively, and this is a very close matchup. These teams have played each other very well in their last couple of games. I mean, close games, tight games, physical games. I mean, not by any stretch a blowout or one team has the decided edge. You're going to give it to the Steelers because they're playing at home, and the weather may obviously work in their favor. But the one thing that I don't like about the Steelers is I think they have a weak offensive line. And if you put pressure on Roethlisberger, I mean, that's when they seem to have problems because defensively they're going to be solid. They're going to keep the game, I think, low scoring. But can the Steelers score some points?
That's a good question. And the way Rivers is playing in San Diego, that's going to be a problem for Pittsburgh if they get off to a slow start offensively. Now on the other side, as a diehard Giant fan, we'll talk Giants and Eagles here with the great Marcus Allen. But I once saw Kerry Collins play against the Baltimore Ravens in a big spot in the Super Bowl, and they picked them off 4 or 5 times, and the Giants got killed. Kerry Collins again playing that Baltimore Raven defense, this time as a member of the Tennessee Titans. What makes me think, Marcus Allen, that this time Kerry Collins will have success against that Raven defense?
Well, I think because they can run the ball. And I think that's going to be really important for them to do that, not just by product of yard, just because they need to slow down that great defensive front. And when you can slow them down, then you can play action. The only way you beat up a team like that is to be physical.
Yeah.
That's the only aspect of the game that you can make your opponent surrender or wave the white flag, if you will, is running the ball. And that's what they have to do. They cannot rely on him to throw the ball 30 to 40 times. I mean, he's done that in a few games, but not against this defense and not against the secondary, because they're very opportunistic.
I think Kerry Collins was at Penn State before you at USC, right?
Yeah. He's been around that long, right?
Yeah, he's been around a long time. All right, let's get to my Giants. They've got the Eagles. Now, you and I had a little discussion here before we started the show, and again back here on the Third Degree with the great Hall of Famer Marcus Allen. And it's kind of the thing these days to pick against my Giants. I'm okay with that. That's fine. We won the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl last year. Like, I had something to do with it, by the way. And we went 12-4 this year. But the Eagles are hot. McNabb is playing great. Westbrook is playing great. They seem to be on a mission. And I will tell you, as a fan, I am very concerned about this football team, and I can see where the Giants would have difficulties on Sunday.
Well, and you should be, because, again, these are two similar teams.
You're supposed to soothe my concerns.
I'm not going to soothe your concerns right now. I'm going to tell you like it is. And the fact is that the Eagles play the Giants well. They know everything about them. These teams are mirror images. I think they have great defenses, and they both rely on their running games. And if the quarterbacks are hot, they can put lots of points on the board. Now, I look at the Eagles and say, you know what, they know how to play the Giants. That's all I'm going to say. They know how to play the Giants. They're not intimidated. They're not intimidated whether they have to go into the Giants Stadium or not. That doesn't bother them. The weather doesn't bother them. So, I mean, they're so familiar with this team that they can just go out and this is a close one.
Yeah.
And I would be afraid if I was you.
Yeah, I'm afraid. I admit it. I'm afraid. Now, if I'm a Panther fan, I'm not all that afraid. I know Arizona had a terrific year, and Warner had a great year. They beat Atlanta last weekend, but I fully expect Carolina to win. The bigger question now becomes, is it the winner of the Giant-Eagle game that represents the NFC in the Super Bowl, or does Carolina win no matter what? What do you think? Carolina's had a terrific year.
That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one. And when you look at the Cardinals, they have not, when they've gone east, they've played horrible.
Yeah.
They have not played well. And they've got by an Atlanta team, but I think obviously with an inexperienced quarterback, yet he had a wonderful year. It did show that his inexperience hurt them down the stretch. And they made huge plays. Fitzgerald and Bolton, those guys. Is Bolton playing?
Yeah, he'll be out there.
Okay. I would still give the edge to Carolina at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think.
But I don't know who's going to represent.
So Carolina's going to. You're not sure if they'll beat the Giants or the Eagles.
That'll be a tough game.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough call too. So.
Yeah, I think either way, whether it's Carolina Giants or Carolina Eagles, you're in for a very physical NFC Championship game. Okay, now last time I spoke to you, put for football aside, you don't really care about football, do you? I know you played a little bit for a little
Not
while.
a lot.
But you were very excited because we were going to have a change in the White House.
Right.
And I know that you're a guy that was a very big Barack Obama supporter. Now, the inauguration is coming up here in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
And I know that you're much more excited about that than you are about the upcoming Super Bowl or the football game. So as my cousin goes down to Al Franken in Minnesota, and we're seeing a shift from the Republicans to the Democrats in government, how excited are you about Barack Obama really taking over?
Well, I got to tell you what, I'm excited because, let's get serious 1 second. We were just talking about the other day, my grandmother is 90, and she's seen a lot. And in my short time, I've seen an awful lot as well. I was 3 years old when Kennedy got assassinated. Wow. And to meet several presidents in between, and now to know we have a first black president, is something very exciting. But I also do realize that things are not good, and he's going to have a very tough challenge. And if people think that he, is the panacea, if he can cure, all our ills, I think they're going to be sadly mistaken, because there's a lot that has to be done. And first of all, the culture at the White House has to change, or let's say Congress. Their approval rating was so low, much worse than Bush. And they're squabbling now, and they're going through things now that don't look good. We're all hoping for change. Well, I don't see any change at all. It's just a lot more scandal. So,
especially what's going on in the Middle East here the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely, that's going to be a challenge too. So,
yeah, no doubt, he's got his work cut out for him. But your work is done here with me today. But as always, you were spectacular. It's always an honor and a thrill to talk to you, man. It's great to see you.
You mean we're done? I mean, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. We can do it again tomorrow if you'd like.
We'll see if we have some time.
All right, there he is, one of the all-time greats, of course, USC Trojan running back, Heisman Trophy Award winner, and a great career with the Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs as well. And he'll be out there on Thursday night representing the Pac-10 as a Heisman Trophy Award winner as Florida gets set to take on Oklahoma. He is the great Hall of Famer Marcus Allen. I am Sid Rosenberg. That'll do it for this edition of The Third Degree. We'll be back here in a couple of days.
Go Trojans.
Go Trojans. Beat Penn State. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Think you can complete the drive? Play today and get an automatic entry to win daily prizes, 2 tickets to the big game, and a brand new car. Start your drive today at opensports.com.